On a quiet Monday, cameras flashed in the White House. Calm yet calculated, Donald Trump sat beside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. With a few carefully chosen words, Trump delivered a chilling message, not just to Iran, but to the entire world.
I think if the talks aren't successful with Iran, I think Iran is going to be in great danger.
Now, what does great danger mean from a man like Donald Trump? And why is the world suddenly watching Oman, a small neutral Gulf state, like it holds the fate of nations? This is the untold story behind the rising tensions between the US, Israel, and Iran. A story of nuclear threats, secret diplomacy, and the haunting possibility of another war in the Middle East. Let's dive in. In 2018, President Donald Trump made a decision that shook global diplomacy. He unilaterally withdrew the United States from the Iran nuclear deal, known as the JCPOA. The deal, painstakingly negotiated by world powers during the Obama administration, aimed to prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons in exchange for the lifting of economic sanctions. But Trump didn't see it that way. He called it a terrible deal, accusing Iran of exploiting the agreement while secretly continuing its nuclear ambitions. By tearing it up, Trump ignited a firestorm. Iran, once restrained by international oversight, began to slowly walk away from the limits placed on its nuclear program. And in response, the US reimposed crushing sanctions, crippling Iran's economy and further isolating it from the global stage. For years, there was no dialogue, only threats, drone strikes, and silent cyber warfare. But now something has changed. Trump, preparing for what may be another bid for the presidency, has revived his appetite for spectacle diplomacy. And this time, the stakes are even higher. He announced that the US and Iran are preparing for negotiations. The venue, Oman, a quiet Middle Eastern kingdom known for discreet diplomacy. Behind the curtains of palaces and high-security halls, two delegations are preparing to meet. On one side, the Americans, led by Trump's envoy, Steve Witkoff. On the other hand, Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi. But here's the twist. These talks won't be face-to-face. Iran has refused direct contact. And their reason? A lack of trust, a sense that threats are being used as bargaining tools rather than genuine diplomacy. Trump's strategy, as always, is classic. Peace through pressure, and when asked about the possibility of military action, he didn't hesitate.
Well, they can't have a nuclear weapon.
Did you mean military action, though, if they don't agree?
Oh, if necessary? Absolutely.
But what does act mean? And why was Israel suddenly brought into the conversation? Sitting beside Trump during that press briefing was Benjamin Netanyahu, an old ally with a shared enemy, Iran. Trump turned to him, casually but clearly.
With Iran, if it requires military, we're going to have military. Israel will obviously be very much involved in that. He'll be the leader of that.
Those words echoed far beyond the White House. For decades, Israel has viewed Iran's nuclear program as an existential threat. And in recent years, they've conducted covert operations inside Iran, sabotaging facilities, assassinating scientists, and waging an intelligence war that's still largely classified. Now, Trump was publicly aligning with Israel for a potential joint strike. Was this a bluff? A calculated scare tactic? Or a genuine signal that war may be on the horizon? To understand Iran's position, we must look deeper into the economic pressure crushing the country from within. Iran is one of the most sanctioned nations on Earth. These sanctions aren't just symbolic, they're devastating. Billions of dollars in oil revenues are frozen in international banks. Foreign companies, even those outside the US, are punished if they do business with Tehran. And now, as talks approach, Trump has added even more sanctions, specifically targeting Iran's uranium enrichment efforts. For ordinary Iranians, this means rising inflation, joblessness, and a rapidly shrinking middle class. Basic goods are more expensive than ever. Medicine is harder to find. And yet, the government continues to invest in its nuclear infrastructure. But here's what surprised everyone. In a rare and shocking move, Iran's president, Masoud Pezeshkian, announced something never heard before. He said American companies, yes, American, would be welcome to invest in Iran if a new deal is reached. Even the supreme leader, long considered hostile to the West, has reportedly signaled approval. Why? Because Iran knows Trump wants a win. And perhaps nothing would be more symbolic for his legacy than an Iranian peace deal, a successor to the JCPOA, but one branded with Trump's name. A Nobel Peace Prize, maybe? Here's where things get tricky. Iran has long insisted it does not seek nuclear weapons. Their leaders have publicly declared it, religious edicts have forbidden it, and the IAEA has confirmed compliance multiple times, at least before Trump's withdrawal from the deal. So what's the holdup? According to journalist and Iran expert Narges Mortazavi, the problem is mixed messaging. Trump and his envoy, Witkoff, say they simply want to ensure Iran doesn't get the bomb. But others, like National Security Advisor Michael Waltz and Netanyahu, have taken it further. They want complete dismantlement, no enrichment, no nuclear program at all. That's something Iran won't accept. To them, a peaceful nuclear program is a right, and dismantling it completely would be surrender, not negotiation. So, what does this mean for the talks in Oman? It means we're at a dangerous crossroads. If talks fail, the consequences could be catastrophic. The US has military assets positioned across the Gulf. Israel has carried out airstrikes across the region. Iran controls powerful proxies in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon, and Yemen. Any escalation could spiral fast, turning into a regional conflict that drags in global powers. Oil prices would skyrocket, supply chains would crumble, and innocent lives across multiple countries would be caught in the crossfire. And if war does come, the first targets may be Iran's nuclear facilities. But Iran will retaliate with drones, missiles, cyber attacks. And unlike past wars, this one wouldn't stay contained to deserts and borderlands. So what really happens behind the closed doors of Oman's royal halls this Saturday? Will Trump's strategy of threats and charm work? Will Iran compromise under pressure or double down in defiance? According to insiders, the Iranian delegation is seeking clarity. They want to know, what is the US actually offering? What does no nukes mean? Is there room for civilian enrichment? Will sanctions be lifted or tightened? Iran's economy is bleeding, but its pride is intact. And in diplomacy, pride can often outweigh pain. In the end, this is not just a standoff between Trump and Tehran. It's a larger game, a geopolitical chessboard where every move signals deeper intentions. Oman is just the stage. The real play is between ideologies, between the desire for dominance and the hope for peace, between politicians chasing legacy and nations trying to survive. And while the cameras focus on smiling faces and handshakes, remember this: behind every threat is a consequence. Behind every promise is a calculation, and behind every deal is a price. So the question remains, will this be the beginning of a nuclear peace, or the spark that sets the Middle East ablaze? Only time will tell. But for now, the world watches and waits.